There's been a lot of research, much of it funded by development organizations like USAID, to create new varieties of maize that are more tolerant to changes in climate, particularly more tolerant to higher amounts of heat and more tolerant of less rainfall. The issue is that the research has gone out ahead of the market. And so, you have these new varieties that actually could address food security problems, but many rural farmers have not adopted them and are unaware of them. We launched a project through GCFSI and with USAID funding to understand why it is that farmers were not using climate-resilient maize varieties or drought-tolerant maize varieties, especially in regions that are becoming drier and becoming warmer. And we realized that there was a need for much more communication out to rural communities to increase awareness and provide strategies for farmers to obtain these climate-resilient maize varieties. So really affecting demand as opposed to much of the work had been on the supply side. We wondered about what farmers' thoughts were regarding climate change. And we came away with a very clear impression that farmers were well aware of changing rainfall patterns. What they didn't realize was, what actions they could take in order to mitigate some of these effects of climate change. Because of our success in Malawi with the use of participatory videos as a tool for helping rural communities become more aware of changes that might benefit their agriculture, we propose to use that approach in the service of increasing farmer awareness of climate-resilient maize varieties. And we work closely with a local NGO, a group called FIPS Africa. FIPS stands for Farm Input Promotions. They helped us to identify local communities that where they were working, where we could find actors. And then we spent some time with these actors to talk about what our goals were and share this kind of basic framework for this story that we had in mind. And they helped us to adapt it to really fit, the local context in a much greater way. We shot the video over about a 3-4 day period in December, and then spent the next month or two turning that into essentially about a 35-minute video that told the story of a family that was having problems with their maize, but that learned about these new drought-tolerant maize varieties, and then tried them and benefited from their experience. We showed the video in public settings in those 16 villages. We ended up with about 670 farmers who came to our screenings. We show the video, and then there's a discussion. So it's very important to have that discussion, because then you really begin to understand how people interpret the kinds of the story that you've created, and really, you begin to see that they see things that you might not see. Then we will go back at the end of the planting season and harvest in July, and we'll find out, did the farmers who were exposed to the video treatment try out drought-tolerant maize varieties to a greater extent than farmers in the control villages. It's not a question of educating farmers about the existence of climate change, it's just providing them with strategies to mitigate its effects.
Atumato siona.